Today's episode is about Edgar,
Yes,
and
sir.
we're gonna start with your childhood stories. So, give us a little background about how you were raised, your upbringing, this kind of stuff you went through as a kid,
Yeah,
stuff
man.
like that.
Well, some people may not know I was actually born in Mexico, a city called Guadalajara, pretty big city. But what really happened was my mom went into labor in my small town, which is 3 hours from the city. This small like ranch town, village type shit, like 500 population.
Hmm.
And she went into labor and had to make the 3 hour journey to the closest like half decent hospital.
Wow.
We take it back even before that. A few months
Before you were
yeah,
born.
before I was born.
Let's take it back.
My mom went to get like an ultrasound or something,
Yeah.
and they couldn't find my heartbeat. They thought I was like
That's
they
weird.
thought I was fucking dead, and
Oh shit.
they were because like the hospitals are so like not only was it 2001, it's in Mexico in fucking
Yeah.
rural Mexico,
Hmm.
so they're like, yeah, ma'am, your baby's dead. We have to take and like my dad last minute was like, check again, because they were about to like go through like the process of like getting me out.
Hmm.
And my dad's like, check again. And they're like, we already did. And he's like, check again. He like basically threatened them.
Yeah.
And they did. And I wasn't dead.
Oh my
I don't know
God.
what it was, but they
Dude,
fucked
that
up.
is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy story.
Very close to, yeah, my mom told me that story and I was like, what the fuck? So I was like pretty close to not existing.
Yeah.
And it sucks because my mom, I'm the youngest. I have two older siblings. But before that, my mom's first pregnancy, she had a miscarriage. And it was like a pretty early on miscarriage.
Hmm.
I thought whenever she would tell me the story, she would say that it was my older brother, but like it was too early to tell the gender.
Yeah.
But that she would always be like, "Yeah, that was your older brother." And I was like, "Wow." But yeah, fucking, I'm here by chance apparently.
Me too, actually. Yeah, that's crazy. It's always to hear like your parents' story of how they had you and all that kind of stuff, because
Yeah,
it kind of makes you appreciate your life a little bit more, because you kind of realize like one little change could have made me not exist like at all.
but yeah,
Well,
born in
yeah.
the
So
city of
continuing
Mexico,
on.
not
Hmm.
Mexico City, but like Guadalajara, big city,
Hmm.
skyscrapers and shit. Didn't really associate much with that town because straight after I was born, I got brought back to the small town called Huitzila, and
Hmm.
like I said, 500 population. We moved out of there before I even turned one to the
Okay.
U.S. My
Hmm.
dad already had his citizenship. He was a window washer in Chicago, like the skyscraper window washer.
Hmm.
Like this guy was hanging from like
That's
the Sears
crazy.
Tower or the Willis Tower, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever got to watch that, but like pretty tall buildings in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
It's
I
crazy.
could never do that.
Nah, dude. I think that's where I get like my crazy like ninja
Probably.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even when he was a kid, he would climb trees. He said he would be like a monkey, basically, like tree to tree jumps. I'm like, bro.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And he still kind of has it in him because I've taken him to like ninja train,
Yeah.
and he's not bad. He beats me in a few things, and he always likes to show off. But yeah, I
That's
definitely get that
awesome.
from my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, we moved to. I think we stayed a few days or for like a few months in Chicago.
Hmm.
We lived in this like triplex type thing, but like in the basement of it. I have no
Mhm.
memory of this because I'm like 1 year old, but
Yeah.
1 year old. My sister tells me a lot about it because she was like 6. She was going to school there for a bit,
Hmm.
and apparently it was really humid in the basement. So like I developed like a lung infection
Oh damn.
that like sometimes when I run I kind of feel like a little bit of pain in my lung. I don't know if it has anything to do with that,
Hmm.
but it's not like I have asthma or anything. But I've always been told by my mom like you have like a pretty serious like lung infection from being in the humid ass basement for so long.
Yeah.
Eventually we managed to get out of there. We had some family in Green Bay, and
Okay.
we ended up moving to Green Bay. Way better air quality when we were
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
And yeah, since like 1.5, 2 years old, I've been in Green Bay.
Okay. So that's how you ended up here.
Yes, sir.
Um, what kind of family was it like? just some relatives, like close family, or
Yeah,
just like kind of?
yeah, like
Okay.
uncles, aunts.
Oh yeah.
Basically, most of them are in Green Bay.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Like I honestly like
Dude,
from
that's one thing
Mexico
I
to Green
never
Bay.
understood. Yeah,
Cause like
like
it was Chicago. I have people in Chicago. I have people in Kentucky. But for some reason,
yeah,
we chose Green Bay.
that's what I never understood either. Is like my mom, her dad was in the Air Force, so she was born in New Mexico on a military base.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they just moved every like 2 years, like to Europe, Germany, like Italy,
Wow.
everywhere, and somehow they ended up in Green Bay. It's like really, like that's where I ended up.
Could have had your childhood in Italy, like,
Dude, anywhere
uh,
else, honestly. Like maybe not Ohio or
damn,
something, but yeah.
like
It's
Green
always weird
Bay.
to see how people end up in like Wisconsin of all places. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
it's been a yeah. So yeah, I grew up here. I go back to Mex. I used to go back to Mexico every year, but like I haven't gone in like two years.
Hmm.
But like every February they have like these festivals down in my little town, and it's like huge party, crazy. Like everyone gets drunk. It's insane. And
Hmm.
but a few years back, it got pretty bad because the cartel decided to invade our little town. And
Hmm.
basically, what they would do is just they're not even Mexican. They're like from El Salvador and from all those like Central American countries.
Yeah.
And they would walk around with their AKs, and they like I don't think they ever at that time they never killed anyone there or anything.
Mhm.
They would just kind of like intimidate, and just like it was fucked. I was there when these guys were there.
Yeah.
The year after that, the fucking government was there with their fucking fully Kevlar vests and gas masks. This shit you see in
Hmm.
movies. And I'm just a
Yeah.
little kid walking around watching looking and I played Call of Duty and shit so I could recognize the guns.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, look, he has an AK. Dad, look, he has an MP5, and he's like, shut up, don't look at them. I don't understand why
Shit.
we still went back. But it's fucked
Yeah,
because
that's yeah. I don't know.
you're a little kid and you're seeing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole country down there. It's bad. Like with
Yeah.
the cartel and everything. Like even stories I've heard from other people where like their hometown, like there's people hanging from bridges every time they go there.
Yeah, it's
Like
fucking
because the
bad.
cartel just comes through, and if somebody like says the wrong thing or if somebody's acting suspicious, they just hang them from a bridge and shit, or kill them or execute. It's like a third world country down there, pretty much. Like because like even now, like in most not I don't know about most parts, but in some parts, like the police won't even do anything because they can't because they're gonna get killed too if they try to
Yeah.
interfere. So it's pretty bad. I don't know.
An unfortunate story. I think last year February, which is exactly a year ago. One of my cousins, he's like as old to be like my uncle, and he has kids that are my age.
Hmm.
Um, he was actually murdered last year in just
Damn.
straight up cold blood. He was driving into the town, and some truck came passing the other lane and just completely shot him up completely his truck.
Well.
And I wasn't like extremely close to him. Like I would see him every year, and I would always hang out with his son, who was basically he's like a year younger than me, and he has three other kids as well.
Yeah.
And this just happened last year. There was no investigation, and
Yeah. Nothing.
it's just I can't believe that. And then his wife was in the truck too, and she somehow survived. And
Wow.
I feel for the man. Like I used to see them every year, and that shit just happened literally last year. It's fucked.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
And it's crazy
That's
because Mexico
sad.
isn't all that bad. Like I remember I was at that time I was for a class I was doing like a project talking about like misconceptions or stereotypes of where you're from.
Hmm.
And that was my main premise was like, oh, everyone thinks that it's this like murderous place, and it's really not. That shit's kind of rare. Like if you go to like the nice parts, Mexico City, Guadalajara. I mean, Guadalajara can be shit. It stinks in there. But there's a lot of nice places. It's not all bad, and a lot
Yeah.
of the bad shit gets highlighted on the news for whatever the
Mm.
reason. I guess for views and shit.
Yeah,
But
that's really the case with anywhere though.
yeah,
You know, like the Middle East. Like I'm sure it's not all horrible over there, but I still would not want to go there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I don't. But that's because like all you hear is like all the bad stories about people getting kidnapped and shit and
Yeah,
all
fuck
that
that.
stuff. So it's just not. I don't know. For me, it's not worth it.
Hmm.
But yeah, for sure, there's um, definitely the bad things get covered more than the good things.
Yeah.
That's just the case with everything, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's just how the media be. Like they can't just have like a good news outlet.
No, yeah. Well, they usually like give you like five horrible stories, and then like they throw one little, oh look, it's Timmy's birthday, he's turning 3. It's like, oh look, yeah, Timmy, okay, okay.
Fucking Timmy.
Kind of makes you forget about all the like murders and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
oh okay, at least Timmy's having a good birthday.
Like despite all the stereotypes that get labeled with being Mexican, being Latino,
Hmm.
Hispanic, and all that, I'm still very proud of my heritage and I am very in tune with it.
Yeah,
I identify with it fully. Like I am a Mexican and nothing else. I'm not Mexican American. I'm Mexican. Yeah, I grew up here, but that's where my
yeah.
culture is, and I grew up basically with those same morals from my parents and from my grandparents
Hmm.
and all my family.
For
So
sure.
I'm a complete born there. Both my parents are from there. Although I did a ancestry test, and I'm 50% Spanish. So I
Yeah,
guess I got a little bit of that. But like I grew up, I'd never seen Spain. I'm gonna see Spain at some point, but my blood is
that'd
in
be cool.
Mexico, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. So, branching out. So, was anything in your childhood really impactful to your life, like now? Like, is there
Um,
anything that you kind of carry with you from your childhood that, good or bad, it kind of impacts your decisions now?
it's a good question. There's a lot. Uh, the main thing, obviously, was my parents' divorce.
Yeah.
That happened, I think, like in 2013. I think was when they were officially divorced, but before then, obviously, there was like fights, and my mom would move
Mm-hmm.
out a few times. I think I was in fourth grade the first time she moved out to this really shitty apartment. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
do you know where? I don't know. I forgot. They're called like the Imperial Apartments. I don't know if you know where that is.
Um.
It's a really shitty neighborhood, and people do like meth and shit there, which I didn't know till now. You want to know how I know people do meth there?
Yeah.
There was a fucking meth bust up here in Stevens Point, and
Mm-hmm.
the smell. It was like at a motel, and the
Oh yeah.
smell was fucking awful. But when I took that first whiff, it took me back to that apartment, and it
Dang.
was the exact smell. And I don't know how I just remembered it. Just instant connection in my brain
Mm-hmm.
that I was living that close to like that kind of those kind of drugs. I was like, fuck. And
Yeah.
I was like in fourth grade, and for a while it was just me and my mom. Like I don't remember my siblings being there. Like because I remember we didn't have a bed, so we were just me and my mom were just sleeping on the floor like on some blankets.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where the hell my siblings were. I just have that memory of just being my mom. But then eventually it was just all of us, and then my dad was just alone for a few months, and then my mom moved back in. I don't think we spent the whole year in that apartment. My mom moved straight back in with my dad. He came and like apologized, and eventually she's like, all right, and then they moved. They weren't divorced yet, so they just moved back in to the house. We had a good like 2 more years, and I think it was around sixth or seventh grade. They split up again. She moved on at least to a nicer apartment this time. Uh, it's still the ones by Preble, the Deckner apartments. They were nicer, but they were still annoying because you could hear people drinking and playing music till like 1 a.m. We were there
Mm-hmm.
for like 2 years at least, and guess what? My mom went back. Um, I never knew what was really wrong between them. Like what was the issue? I never asked.
Yeah.
I just felt like
Mm-hmm.
that was not my business. Um, I remember like the crazy fights they would have. There was once it was like around Christmas, and my brother
Mm-hmm.
like knocked down the Christmas tree, and like it was like a whole family fight. Like everyone was crying. I don't know what it was about. I was too young to really realize what the fuck was going on. I
Yeah.
just remember screaming and just like everyone crying. I think
Yeah.
at one point they were like it got physical a little bit, but like I don't know, it was bad.
Yeah.
Um, and then they got back together for like a year or two, I think. the
Mm-hmm.
timeline's kind of fucked because like I think when my mom was in that second apartment is when they got officially divorced around
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah.
Um, but then somehow they ended up back together while being divorced, back in the house. My mom moved out again, but this time she had saved enough money to buy a house, and I remember like looking for houses with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was a weird time because like she would come back home where my dad was, but then we would be looking for houses.
Yeah.
And then she found this house on, I don't know if you've ever heard Day Street in Green
Mm-hmm.
Bay, how it's like one of
Yeah.
the worst streets.
Yeah.
Uh, we got this house that I picked out because there was a park next to it, and it was, I mean, it was a pretty shit house to be fair. Like from the outside, it looked really nasty, but it was like really cheap, which is what we needed.
Yeah.
So we got the house, and I'd go play in the park, and there was these sketchy kids that were really, they were just assholes and bullies.
Mm-hmm.
So there was my fucking payback for just for choosing the house, the karma for it. I remember I almost got in a fight with this kid. Oh, and there was like a time where my dad moved into that house for a little bit, and our other house was just like left alone for a
Yeah.
pretty long time. That was weird. That was a weird time.
How old were you like throughout this whole process? Like,
This was like late middle school to like
okay.
early high
So
school.
you kind of you knew what was kind of going on and stuff.
I just
Obviously.
I was always so confused because sometimes my
Well,
parents would
yeah.
love each other and sometimes they were split and they hated each other.
Yeah, I can see how that'd be really confusing, especially since, you were so young too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because all my siblings they took it a different way. My older sister, I always looked at her as like the stronger one, but she would have her moments. She would freak out at my dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she was always pretty put together on the outside. I know she would talk to me later on, and I know she was going through a lot more shit because she was the older sibling, and I'm pretty sure she understood everything more.
Yeah.
Um, my brother, it was pretty rough for him. He's got like some mental health issue. Like we all like, pretty basically because of that, all of us kids in the family have mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it hit him pretty bad. Especially because
Is
he
he the
was,
middle? The
yeah,
middle
he's
child?
middle
Yeah.
child, and he's
Yeah.
going through like a transition. Like he came out to my dad as bi around that time, and then to my
Yeah.
dad and my mom, and they were not accepting of it at all. And then
Yeah.
recently he came out as trans.
Mm-hmm.
I love him to death. He's my brother, and I feel so bad because like at that age I didn't know how to react to that stuff either, and I wasn't the nicest. Because my
Yeah,
parents would
for
always be
sure.
like, Gay is bad." Like nowadays, luckily, it's all good.
Yeah.
Um, but like back then, I remember it being really bad how they treated him for identifying with these things.
Yeah.
Um, but like it was bad. He's gonna be on the podcast, and we'll have him talk a lot more about this. I don't know how much he'd like for me to reveal, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep it at that. But if I know you're listening, Ray. I love you to death. We'll have you on pretty soon. But that was always a really hard time for me because I was so young and I didn't understand how to, I don't know, just how to be like supportive. And
Yeah,
I
for
wish I
sure.
was more supportive around that time because we were all going through shit and we didn't know because we wouldn't really talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, it's a blessing in disguise because you can kind of, how you wish you were more supportive then, you can take that and turn it into being more supportive now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and
I
I
think
try
that would
to.
mean a lot to him now, especially since he said like it's kind of everything's pretty much good now. So that's
Hmm.
good. So yeah, just keep getting better. I think it would be
Yeah.
the best way forward.
So
But yeah.
take it back. We're in the house. My mom moved. Guess what? She moved back to my dad's house.
Mhm.
I think this is the fourth time going. Um, and this was like up until like junior year. My mom was with us, and at that time I thought finally they're back together. It's gonna be all
Mhm.
good, and I was really happy. I remember because my whole family was together in the house, and yeah, there'd be
Yeah.
fights, but I remember physically like blocking it out because I wanted just to be a happy family.
Mhm.
And then out of nowhere, me and my mom went to get some McDonald's, and she's like, "Son, I gotta tell you something. Like, I'm moving back to the other house." I'm like, "What? Like seriously?
Mm.
Like we were finally a family.
Yeah.
Everyone was home, and everyone."
Yeah.
So my mom moved out. there was like some big drama with something my dad did, and I'm not gonna get into that at all. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
my siblings did not like what he did, and they moved out as well. And I went to my mom's house that same day, and my dad calls me. I've never heard him cry before, but he calls me crying, saying,
Mm.
"Please don't leave me." And it was fucked. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine that listening to your dad just telling you like, "Don't leave me." And I was like,
Mm.
"Dad, I would never. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna live with you." So it was just me and my dad
Mhm.
at the house. He was during that time. Um, he was basically like my roommate. This is all a senior year basically, and like the summer before.
Mhm.
It was basically my roommate. It was just me and him. At the house, and my dad likes to go to Mexico for months at a time.
Mm.
He left. I think he left like in mid December of that year, of our senior year,
Mhm.
and didn't come back till like March. So for 3 months, I was alone with my dogs
Wow.
in the house.
I think I remember that now that you mention it.
Yeah, that was a weird time for me because I was really isolated. I mean,
Yeah.
think about that. A 17-year-old kid just. I was really just an isolated kid living in a house by himself at 17. I mean, most people would be like, "Wow, you could have had parties and got like." That's not me.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I
Yeah,
want to
for
get
sure though.
out in this podcast is that I was always just a kid with. I don't know how I want to say this. Like I was always just relaxed, and I never.
Laid back, yeah.
Yeah, I
Same with
never
me.
did anything crazy like that. Like parties to me is like the most boring thing I can think of. Because you just fucking like sit there,
Yeah.
drink, get drunk.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not for me.
Mhm.
So I lived there alone for a long time, and it was such a weird time for me. I know I keep saying that, but
No, yeah.
it's hard
For
to
sure
really
though, it
remember.
was.
Yeah, it's hard to really remember specific moments
Mhm.
because a lot of it was just I don't know. I was just at home with my dogs, and I tried to go to like my mom's house as much as I could, but I had to stay home with my dogs, take care of them.
Yeah.
Because at the time I had three, and it was an interesting time. I learned a lot how to be independent.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you probably took a lot of I don't know what you want to call it, but you probably learned, yeah, basically what you just said. You probably learned a lot about independence and
yeah,
how to really look after yourself during that time.
I
And
had
I mean, throughout your whole childhood, really, because,
yeah.
you know, all of those things going on, I feel like you kind of, it impacts a young kid to kind of be more independent. I think. I don't know. I've never been through it, obviously, but there's always um, a good side to things, you know,
Hmm.
no matter what it is. Well, depending, obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it wasn't all bad. I had to pay like my dad's bills and shit, so I learned how to do that. Cooked for
Hmm.
myself. I all throughout this time, I luckily I had a car, but I didn't have a license. I
Hmm.
drove around without a license for like about a year before,
Yeah.
and I got away with it. Never got pulled over. So I learned that independence. It was a lot of it was just because I knew I was going to college the next year, so I was like, well, I guess this is good because I get to learn how to
Yeah.
basically be an adult.
I'm gonna kind of bring it back with this question a little bit. Just something. Is there anything you kind of wish you knew sooner in your life, like that you know now that maybe would have helped you throughout your childhood, throughout those times, or maybe helped you in school or anything like that, like middle school or like when you were that young?
Um, yeah, definitely. One of the biggest things, and luckily I made this realization around high school time, is
Hmm.
that those years, your middle school years, your high school years, those are the good years.
Yeah.
Those are the last few years where there's barely any consequences to what you do.
Yeah.
You can just there's no like for a lot of people there's no real responsibilities,
Hmm.
and I guess basically I wish I would have known to like enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And I did have fun, but I always look back and I'm like, damn, I just want one more day back in
Hmm.
middle school with I remember I had this study hall teacher that me and Moses would always mess with, and those days are so I remember always waiting because it was like you know how there was like day 1, day 2.
Hmm.
I was always waiting for that. I think it was day 2 when it was me and him in the study hall class for us just to like he would like get up to close the door, and we would like flip his chair over, flip the trash can over, like hide his book, like just shit like that. It was
Yeah.
always fucking funny because he was an older. I mean, I feel like an asshole now because we're messing with this old man. But I
Uh,
feel like, I mean, we were just having fun. We
yeah.
fucking he made a fucking Minecraft minigame version of the study hall class.
Oh my god.
Oh, we
That's
fucking
funny.
terrorized this old man. It was a good time. I mean, I remember enjoying that time, and I always
Yeah.
look back and I'm like, just give me one more day in that class, back when nothing mattered and you can just,
Yeah, I think everyone can relate to that. You
yeah,
know, everybody hated school while they were doing it, but
yeah,
I don't know. I would be fine with one more day of high school, you know? Like, just to kind of take it all in one more time, you know?
yeah. We never. I guess I never really like fully appreciated like the times,
Yeah, me
especially
neither.
how hard it is for me now. Because I don't
Yeah.
want to get too far ahead, but like now I'm living in an apartment and going to college, paying rent, paying my utilities bills,
Hmm.
working. I'm just like full on adult out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's I feel like that's a lot what a lot of people are going through right now.
Yeah.
Our age anyway. A lot of the people we know, it's kind of the same experience. It's just kind of figuring out how to be an adult and kind of seeing like I don't know what it's really about.
Yeah.
This is kind of like the make or break point, you know. It's either you're gonna become an adult or you're gonna make bad choices that lead you down a bad path. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, yeah, we can kind of touch back into more about high school because we
Yes,
kind of
sir.
skipped over that a little bit. So, um, what was your high school experience like? What was one like definitive moment or one thing that kind of was like the main focus of your high school experience?
Yeah. High school was really good for me. A lot of people can't say that, and I'm
Hmm.
glad I can say that. But I also think I could have done more.
Yeah.
But for me, when you talk about definitive moment, I think for me the definitive moment was when I got I got to be part of the crew for the play back in my junior year.
Hmm.
That was funny how that came about because at that time I was for my first 2 years of high school. I had really shit grades. I had like a 2.5 GPA for my first 2 years. It was
Hmm.
pretty bad, and I really didn't care about the work. I had no passion in anything. I wanted to be a fucking gaming YouTuber. Like that's what I
Yep.
wanted to do. I guess I was also doing like the eager film stuff too, but
Yeah.
I I would like just like fake trip in the hallway because I thought it was funny. This one time I fake tripped into a classroom, which ended up being Mr. Shu's class, and they were doing a meeting for like a production meeting for the play, and I fake tripped in there. And after they asked if I was okay, they're like, "Do you want to join the
No
crew?"
way, dude.
And I'm
That's how you
like,
got started?
"Yeah, dude." And I was like,
Oh
it was funny because I was like, "No," and I ran away. But I thought about it, and you know me, like I was really into film stuff,
yeah.
and theater is like film but live, which for me
Yeah.
was way better because I mean, think about it. When you make a movie, like you make it, you edit it, and you put it out, and you don't really see people's reactions until like
Mhm.
way after. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
working
I
on
see
this,
what you're saying.
yeah, working on this play, I got to do the projections for it. There was like two screens, and I got to me and Moses. I got him to work with me. Me and him would design these like logos and things that were projecting on the screen,
Mhm.
and we also built the frames that held the screen and the thing that held the projector. And I remember I had to make a little like montage video for it, and that played during when the audience was there.
Mhm.
And at the end, I put like a little joke, and I heard everyone laugh, and I was like, "Wow!" Like people are laughing at my shit. Like I made so many YouTube videos, and like I would get the comment that'd be like, "Nice," and I'd be like, "Oh, that makes me feel kind of good." But
Yeah.
hearing like over 100 people fucking laugh at what
Yeah.
you made,
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, damn, that moment is what was like that got me basically in love with the world of theater.
Mhm.
I chased that shit. I had some. I got this. I was really lucky to be part of this program in the summer called Next Stage. It was at St. Norbert College, and basically they put on these really big musicals. We had Newsies, Singing in the Rain. We had Jekyll and Hyde. A lot of really big musicals, and
Hmm.
the auditorium holds like 700 people.
Wow.
And at that place is where I learned the most, because the older people there, basically took me under their wing, and they taught me how to do everything. They taught me how to work in the wood shop. They taught me
Hmm.
everything about lighting. They taught me basically everything I needed to know to be ready for college. Because a lot of the kids I meet here, because I'm a theater major, I'm a theater
Hmm.
design major. A lot of the kids I meet here are like, oh yeah, I've been doing theater since like elementary school, and
Wow.
I'm a very late bloomer, and yet I feel I'm very like knowledgeable in a lot of this stuff thanks to those 2 years I had at St.
Yeah,
Norbert.
for sure.
They were honestly, I think when I think back to it, like my life probably peaked at that last year I had at St. Norbert, because we had Newsies.
Peaked.
Yeah, well,
Oh my god.
that's what I always like to think to say. Maybe not, but like it was one of the
Yeah,
best times I
yeah,
had.
yeah, for sure. It's a really good memory. We'll just put it like that.
Yeah, sure, okay, fine.
That peaked, bro.
I guess
Kind of.
I guess not, but like that's what I say
Yeah,
sometimes, because it was such a good
yeah.
time. Because
Hmm.
this was a sold out show, 700 people. I got to wear a fucking costume, so I got to be
Hmm.
like one of the news in like New York, like 1900. I had the hat
That's
and
awesome.
everything. I had the fucking weird socks,
Yeah.
and basically I was just like a crew member. I would like run stuff on stage mid show, and the
Hmm.
fucking applause from 700 people is, bro, like the ground
I
shakes.
can't imagine.
The
Yeah,
ground fucking
that's awesome.
shakes. It was probably the best experience, because not only was it a good experience in that way, I learned so much,
Hmm.
and it got me a really good head start for when I came here to college.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of similar in that aspect to you. Just based on like, I love performing live music.
Yeah.
Um, I can't really do it right now though because it's just me.
And there's a fucking
Um,
virus.
and there's coronavirus and all that stuff. But yeah, yeah, it's like a really good rush. Like I
Oh
don't know,
yeah.
it gives you like I don't know. Well, I actually have a question that kind of ties into this.
Yeah.
Um, if I can find it. So, would you say that kind of all of that kind of when you do a successful play or whatever, and afterwards, do you feel like a really strong sense of purpose for it? Like, this is what I'm here for?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um that's basically that feeling after that first play I did. I got that feeling, and I was just like, this is for
Mhm.
me, and I want to do this professionally.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the same feeling I got when I played my first show. I really thought like, yeah, this is for me. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm. And I don't know. People can, like for me, my parents didn't always. Well, they still don't really accept that I want to pursue music as a career. Like they don't
Hmm.
want me to do that. But it's kind of weird for someone else to tell you what your purpose should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and especially like I don't know if you're religious or anything, but or whatever. It doesn't really matter or not. But um, like for me anyway, I like to believe that like if God has a purpose for me, like nobody else is gonna know except for me. You know,
Yeah.
and it's nobody else's responsibility to know except for me, and it's nobody else's like it's nobody else's job to pursue it except for me. You know,
Definitely.
so I kind of remind myself of that whenever I'm kind of feeling like maybe I should stop or maybe this like nobody seems to be interested and nobody seems to care. But you just gotta kind of remember that like nobody has to. You're the only
Hmm.
person that should, and as long as you care, that's all you need.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. Um, yeah.
I actually have a pretty weird relationship with God.
Hmm.
When I was really young, I mean, I was raised Catholic. I was put in like the communion classes, whatever the fuck they were called. Around that time, I was really into that shit for some reason, and it wasn't
Yeah.
too much because I believed a lot in God. It was because you would get to sit in the front of the church, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that attention, I guess.
Yeah,
but I
for
didn't
sure.
really pay attention to like the actual like teachings and everything.
Hmm.
A few years later, I just completely, I don't know what happened. I think I had like a friend that told me like God's not real, and I was like, wait a second, is he? And I had just like a crisis in my mind where like, wait,
Yeah.
what's the actual proof that God's real?
Hmm.
So
Same.
for a lot of years, I was like, yeah, God's not real. God's not real. I'm an atheist. Fuck, I don't
Yeah,
believe
me
any in
too.
that. And then it was weird because it took me to almost fucking die. I was driving back home from Stevens Point during a fucking ice storm,
Hmm.
and my fucking car. It was me and my girlfriend were in there. My fucking car just fucking had this. It was fucking shaking back and forth, and I was like, I completely lost control for 5 seconds, which felt like 10 minutes. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm dead. But I just thought I was basically. I remember my friend told me earlier, before I left to drive. He's like, if you ever slip on the highway, just don't do anything. Just let it correct itself. And
Hmm.
I was repeating that in my head, and I was also saying, God, please, God, please. And then the
Yeah.
car just like fucking fixed itself. And I was like,
Wow.
what the fuck? Like, okay. And after that, I would just like, I couldn't even sleep because I'd just be thinking, have I really been like saying all this shit about God's not real, God's not real? He just saved my life, and this whole time
Yeah.
I've just been like talking shit basically. So like
Yeah.
I'm still not like a full on believer. It's just I know there has to be a higher up,
Yeah. Yeah.
that has a purpose for us and everything, but it's just it's kind of like a bumpy relationship. I don't
Me
ever like
too.
talk to God or anything,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
every night, every once in a while, when like something happens, like I get lucky. I've had a few near death
Hmm.
experiences. Every time, and that's kind of, I guess that's kind of selfish because like you should always, you know, thank him for shit. But every time I get like lucky and shit, I'm like, I think that's you, God. I think you're helping me.
Right? Yeah, that's how it is with me. And it's kind of weird. Like it's just weird because like whatever, I'll like I don't know, 'cause I pray sometimes, like if
Yeah.
I'm really feeling like bad or whatever. Like I'll say like something like I'll ask like my thing is I always ask for signs. Like 'cause like it's like I want to believe, but I just really need solid proof.
Mm-hmm.
So like I ask for signs and I think I want to say it was like the night I don't know, one night I just did that. I just asked for a sign. And then like that same night my brother like was he kayaked down like this river to like some bar and he got like super drunk and then he was gonna kayak back and he like almost drowned.
Oh my god.
Like he got in the kayak and like it tipped over and like he hit his head on a rock or something and got a concussion.
Holy
And
shit.
then like he like grabbed onto a dock somehow and like somebody like grabbed his hand right as he's like let go of the dock, like slipped off of the dock
Oh.
and like literally saved his life. So like that was like the night that I asked for a sign and I was like that has to mean something.
Yeah.
But then like at the same time I still have my doubts and everything, which
Yeah.
sucks. Like I don't want to because especially like I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe in it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's really hard, but I don't know. For me, I kind of think of it like what I'm trying to do right now is like put that faith in myself as much as, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
instead of saying like, oh, it's only like I believe in God, it's more like I believe in myself
Uh huh.
and I believe in God. So like I don't know, it kind of ties in together. Like I'm just practicing like faith in general and belief in general for me is
Yeah.
pretty important. So that's what I've been going with right now. But yeah, um, we'll see how that goes over time.
Yeah.
But
For me, it was always I guess because like we were brought up, and then our parents were like you. For me, at least, my parents were like, "You have to believe in this, or you're going to hell." And that's what
mm,
really threw me off. Like growing up and making that realization, like, oh, but yeah, you only believe this because your parents told you that you had to believe it, because otherwise you go
yeah,
to hell. I was
yeah,
like, it's just a fucking book that tells you if you don't believe you're gonna go to hell. Like it's just a book. How are you gonna
yeah,
just believe some random ass book?
yeah. It's really strange. It's really strange because of how old it is
Yeah.
and how long people have been fol- following this, and the fact that there's I don't know the fact that there's other cultures and other religions really throws me off because it's like is this just like I don't know. For me, I think like there's something like obviously like you said, and I think all cultures share the same whatever that thing is, but we just personify it in different ways.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal opinion, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's really strange. I haven't really figured anything out with that yet,
Yeah, it's
but
weird. I mean,
it's definitely intriguing anyway.
I'd rather be in this state than to blindly follow religion.
Yeah, me too. Me too, for sure. Especially when it comes down to the things like you can't do this, you can't do that.
Hmm.
Like it's just kind of weird. I don't really believe in that because I don't know. I don't believe in the fact that if I make one mistake, I'm going to hell for it. Like,
Exactly.
that's not something I can get behind because I'd rather just die and like be like right back to the place I was before I was born than go to hell, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I'd rather just have that like death whatever than risk like going to heaven or hell. You know what I mean? Like if there's a I don't know what
I
I'm
know
trying to
what
say, but
I get. I
yeah.
kind of get where you're getting at. It's just like I don't know. It's kind of like thing like, are you scared of dying or not? It's just like you would be scared of dying if you knew you were going to hell. I guess. I guess,
Yeah.
and also like I guess some people just don't want to die, which I get. Yeah, fair enough. But like, if you think you're gonna like you made one mistake, you didn't confess, you're gonna go to hell, and
Yeah.
people like that are always gonna be in fear. You know.
Yeah, that's one thing is I don't like the fear aspect of it cuz um I don't know. That's one thing that really throws me off about the whole thing is like especially with Christianity, there's a lot of fear tactics like especially coming from like Europe and stuff. Like
Yeah.
in like the 1600s and stuff, obviously there's like the whole dark ages time where
Yeah.
like nothing was recorded because the government was or like the powers were just like inflicting so much fear into people like like using religion and stuff like you have to follow the religion otherwise we're literally going to kill you like the church is going to kill you, God is going to smite you, we're going to execute you, we're going to burn you to death like if you don't follow like that. I don't follow at all because that just seems like it's just a fear tactic implied by the government like
Yeah.
that by that government to just keep people suppressed. So that I don't really get behind, but I don't know. It's really weird how religion has evolved over the years.
Hmm.
Like I wonder if there's people actually back in those times that didn't believe, or if it was just like
There was. They just got killed.
mandatory. Yeah, pretty much. Which is another horrible like if it's a religion and if it's all good and everything, why do you have to kill people that don't believe in it? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it's just insane. But yeah, anyway, to bring it back a little bit because we kind of
Yeah.
went a
Tangent.
little off topic. um, we can bring it back to we were talking about high school and the theater and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so I know from what I know of you, I know freshman year and sophomore year. The only thing I like knew that you were like really into was soccer. So
Hmm.
when you like, well, obviously I knew you were like you liked making videos and stuff. So when you went into theater, it was kind of like it was cool. I'm not gonna lie, I was intrigued by it, but I
Yeah.
just it kind of threw me off because I was like, oh, okay, that's like that's new. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Um, is there you want to talk about anything with your soccer?
Um.
With anything there?
I never. Like I never played for like the school or anything, which
Mm-hmm.
deeply regret. I was brought up. I remember my dad was a big soccer fan, and he'd put the TV on, and we'd watch Guadalajara. We'd watch them play, and every time they'd score, I was like fucking like 5 years old. Every time they'd score, he'd pick me up and like throw me in the air. So like I
Mm-hmm.
grew up, I was really I still am and always have been really passionate towards soccer. Like it's one of my
Mm-hmm.
passions. I love watching it. I'm a Manchester United fan. I watch all their games when I can. A lot of the time their games come on when I'm at work and I like find like an illegal live stream on my phone
Yeah.
and I watch it. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't doing theater, I'd be pursuing a job in soccer.
Yeah.
I was as far as like my playing career, it sucks because in order to be like really good, you need to be started when you're like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my first season until I was like probably 10. Cause I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, my dad just if that's he says that he feels bad and it's kind of one of his regrets that he didn't put me in soccer earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because by that time, all the kids around me had like 3 or 4 seasons played already. And
Yeah.
even though it was my first season, I remember my first season was pretty good. I scored a few goals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after that, for some reason, I just didn't play for a few years. Like my dad didn't sign me up, or I got really into gaming at that point. So my
Yeah.
dad's like, "Well, you're just playing the game. I guess you don't want to play soccer or anything."
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have my second season until I was in like probably freshman year of high school. Like I played in middle school. I played for Edison 1 year, and I was complete shit. I lost all my. I scored one like insane goal, but it was lucky. But I remember everyone's like, God, why is he playing? But I picked it back up heading into high school, the summer between 8th and ninth grade, and it's just this summer league called Green Bay Strikers, and it's like it's not really that competitive. It's just like a chill. I forgot what they call it, but it's like non-competitive, I guess. Even though it would get pretty competitive. Some of my like best friends that I've met over the years, I met those last few seasons I had, because you can only play in that league up until you're 18.
Okay.
And I remember having so much fun. I was slowly improving year by year, and then my second to last year, I ended up being top scorer. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know, but like I scored basically in every game. And in one game I scored a hat trick, which is 3 goals. So like, there's no way I wasn't top scorer of the league.
Yeah.
And I was like, my dad was like, you can like probably like get into like an academy and go pro. And I was like, I was so into the theater stuff at the same time. Like I would miss games because I had like shows. Like I couldn't put all my focus into one thing. And I was like, hey, what do I want to be, a pro soccer player, which is like 0.1% of a chance to happen? Because I was always good, but like I lacked a lot of things. Like I lacked ball control. I lacked just straight up stamina, because I would play game, but I wouldn't like run on my free time to like get more stamina or anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's kind of my dream to like be a pro, but like I don't think I have the skills, and I'm too late. It's too late for me to be that. So I was like, well, I guess it's let's do the theater thing instead, because that's more secure. But I'd still be happy with like, there's so many like jobs you can have around. You can be a coach. You can be like in the soccer media, like the news, and there's a lot of different jobs that I could have or probably could still have if I don't like this theater thing anymore. But it's another passion I have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's my soccer story.
Okay, well, we can kind of go into so you kind of stopped focusing on that probably around junior year, I would say, right?
I had my last season was right before college.
Okay.
Senior year, and it was basically like I knew that whole time
Is
I was
that when
playing.
you decided, or?
Yeah, well, not really. I kind of made a decision, but I still wanted to play. I decided around junior year.
Okay.
But my senior year, in the summer after senior year, I had my last season, and I remember playing every game. Like I knew this is my last season, and unfortunately, I didn't have like the best team around me. I had some pretty good friends playing with me, but what sucked is our best players were busy, so like they wouldn't show up, and we didn't have that good of a season. And I was mad because I never won the tournament. All the seasons that I played, I never won the tournament, and I had friends that fucking won it like back-to-back years, and I was always jealous of that shit. But yeah, that last season, I remember my last game, I almost like fucking cried. Like I kept it from everyone, because everyone would be like, "Why are you crying? This is like a non-competitive league."
Dude, yeah.
But I knew that this is my last time playing in a team, and it's basically like my retirement at 17 years old. So I felt, it was pretty sad.
Yeah, I remember I played flag football.
Oh, yes.
Because my parents wouldn't let me join the Edison or like any football team, which sucked, because that was like my biggest passion when I was a kid, was football.
I did not know that about you.
Dude, yeah, like sports was my thing. Like even soccer, I was like super into soccer for a while. Baseball, just pretty much every sport. Just every day I would play football in the backyard with my friends and stuff. But anyway, yeah, we had like a tournament, and it was like oh my god, it was like every team got to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those leagues.
Yeah. Dude, no,
dude, I'm not kidding. We literally won every game because I was like a year older than everybody. Yeah. So I was just like really good at football.
Was it tackle, or was
like,
it just flag?
It was flag.
Okay.
So like it was extra easy for me because I would just be spinning around. Like I would literally just like, I was the quarterback, but I would just start running with the ball because I was faster than everybody because I was like a year older. Yeah. It was just like, it was kind of broken, but.
Dude, I can't imagine you playing sports.
Dude, we won every game, and then like. Dude, this is one thing. I remember the first game we ever played. Yeah. Like, it was the first play, and I was on defense. and I just intercepted it, and just it was a pick six. And I'm like, yo, this is gonna be so
Oh.
easy. I was like, this is so easy already, dude. But
Oh my
anyway, so then
god.
we go to the championship, and we lost that game, dude. I was so mad, bro.
No.
Like just like you said, like I felt like I wanted to cry, bro. Over like and
Yeah.
like I
All
was
that
like, bro, how
work.
did we won every game? How did we lose this one?
Yeah,
But it's like
fuck.
the kids didn't show up or something. I don't know.
Damn.
But yeah, anyway.
Th-
Um.
like I
So
think
yeah.
like back to I think it was our junior year. Me, Moses, and Paul all had the same all had the same lunch, and we were like at that time us three were like best friends. Like we were like inseparable, and
Hmm.
we like up on the hill of Preble. Like we'd go outside during lunch, and these kids were playing football, like full on tackle football, and we joined in. And that semester was honestly because we all had the same gym only for that semester. That was
Yeah.
so fucking fun because we got to just tackle all these kids. And there were some kids that were playing that I didn't really like. So the feeling of getting able to fucking smash them on the floor,
Dude, I never,
that was so fun,
I never did that stuff on like lunchtime or anything because there's always
dude.
kids playing football at lunch. But like, dude,
That was
they
so
always came
fun.
back to school with like grass stains and like they fell in a
Yeah,
puddle or
dude.
something.
Yeah,
Like
we
there's a
come back
section of the
fully
grass that was
muddy.
wet. Oh my god,
Some
I
kids
was
would be
like,
like
no, I'm
fucked up.
good.
Some kids would come in limping and shit. Like it was
Yeah,
fun
one
because
kid.
like we could fucking because you know how like you watch football, like they never like pass the ball, like
Yeah,
they like multiple passes, like what's it called, like lateral passes. So whenever
yeah,
we'd about to get tackled, we pass it back and we just keep the play going. Some people like multiple tackles per play.
yeah. Yeah, I never joined that just because I didn't want to get all filthy and stuff. But
I didn't give a shit. I was
dude,
like,
yeah,
dude, muddy pants or just like have a fucking good time.
yeah.
Oh, it was fucking
So
fun.
yeah. So then you kind of got more. We talked about your videography a little bit,
Yeah,
kind of how you kind of started with the filming and then moved into theater, which you're doing now. Um, so now we're kind of back to square one where we're at right now. So I kind of have some questions for you though, um, for the now you know what I mean?
sure.
Um, so one thing is, what about life has fascinated you the most so far? Like, what is one thing that
Life.
you're just fascinated by with life that like just never fails to amaze you? Is there
Bro,
anything like that
that's a
just really
deep ass
like?
question.
I know it's a deep question, but
Fascinating. Oh god. Give me a minute.
yeah, for
um,
sure.
Something that still fascinates me. Um,
Like I can start like for
yeah,
me,
please.
something that fascinates me is like I don't know, the amount of emotion that I can get out of music just never fails to fascinate me.
Yeah.
Like I can listen to a song and like especially like lo-fi songs because there's no words so there's no implication of what you're supposed to be feeling. Like you can really take whatever emotion you want just from the lyrics, like not the lyrics, for just from the music. Like I don't know, it's like a whole nother language to me. And you can like really, for me anyway, I like when I listen to music, it's like a whole like feeling in my brain. Like it's
Yeah.
not just sounds to me. It's like a whole language, like communicating something. So that fascinates me
Yeah.
every time I listen to music. So that's my example.
Um, I guess for me, um, I like something that like within the last like 2 years maybe, I
Hmm.
started to try to pick up like different hobbies, and like most recently I started ice skating.
Hmm.
And I guess is the feeling I get for like when I first stepped onto the ice, I couldn't even stand up. Like I was so out
I
of
still
balance.
can't.
I had
Yeah,
no
I
clue how
can't.
to do it. And um it's kind of a funny story. This like little 6-year-old girl fucking zooming around, and she comes up to me. She's like, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yeah. How do you do that?" And she like gave me some. She's. I asked her how old. She's like, "I'm 6 years old," and she gave me like this advice, and I actually started to get the hang of it. I was like,
Wow.
"Wow!" And it was just like the feeling of like of the fact that like I found something new, and I
Hmm.
started trying really hard, and I started to get the hang of it, just like the feeling of accomplishment, I guess.
Yeah.
And like going out of the house and just like meeting these like humans and talking to them, and it was so weird, like these just little kids, and I remember being a little kid, but like I don't talk to little kids, so I forgot what that was like.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like kind of happy because like nowadays like I get kind of worried about the youth because like TikTok and
Hmm.
shit, like that's all
Yeah.
they
Oh my
do.
God.
But there's these
Yeah.
like kids that are like, and there was a lot of other kids that were like kind of helping me and giving me
Yeah.
advice, and I was like, wow, like you always think like, oh, kids are stupid and shit, but like, this little 6-year-old girl is the reason I kind of know how to skate now.
Dude, it's crazy how innocent kids are.
Yeah,
Like
and like I
just
honestly like
pure.
I hope that girl is protected forever, and like
Yeah.
she was so nice, such a sweet little girl.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we were all those kids at one point too, you know.
I feel like I was a pretty
Everybody you
nasty
know.
kid.
I don't know. I didn't know you as a kid. I can't speak on that. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
I don't think I was that nice or that like I don't know. I didn't have that kind of heart.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely it's definitely interesting to see. That's another thing that fascinates me though. As long as we're on the topic is like seeing how people evolve and just kind of mature and grow up
Yes,
has
definitely.
really been like really fascinating to me to see from other people. But
Uh huh.
honestly, there hasn't been like somebody that that has actually amazed me with how much they've grown up.
Yeah.
It's just, like I don't know. Well, you obviously because I didn't know like all of this like 4 months ago. I didn't know anything about you pretty much anymore because we've stopped talking.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to like when I reached out to you and stuff like that. That was like seeing you kind of maturing and stuff like that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Um, see somebody else that's actually like that, you know, because like on Instagram, it's just everybody on there just seems like is so immature.
Yeah. Like
Like,
people don't like. It seems like a lot of people haven't changed, and
yeah,
um, I don't know. Like it was just that it was such a weird journey that I had to go through, and like when we were first friends, I think I was like at one of my lower points,
hmm,
um, and like that me that you remember back then and the me now is like just such a big difference.
yeah, there definitely is. Same with me too. I mean, obviously,
Oh, it
like
definitely 100%.
you know, um, I don't know. That's one thing a lot of people don't understand. Like, I don't know. I was really goth. Um,
I knew that.
no, everybody knew that, but like the thing is, I'm still pretty much the same person,
Yeah,
but I just express myself differently. Like, I don't know. Everybody was like scared of me and stuff, but I was really just a nice kid. Like, that's just how I
yeah,
express myself. Like, and I would I never smile or anything. Like, I don't. I just like have the like most blank like face ever. So like nobody ever talked to me, and like that kind of sucked because I love talking to people and
yeah.
just having conversations, but I was obviously not very approachable, which I wish I would have changed that. But
And
like
like,
that's one thing I regret.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's whatever. It's not a big deal. But
even when we had that study hall together, like
yeah,
I thought you were always, like we would fucking play memes and shit, and like we were just having a
I
good
was yeah.
time. I
That's
always
one
I
thing.
always
Like
thought of you as like a good friend, like a nice person.
yeah, I always try to make people laugh when I talk to them. Like
Yeah,
it does not matter. Like that's the only way I can feel comfortable in a conversation is if like I get people laughing. So like that, but yeah, nobody would know that about me because like on the outside, I just looked like some freaking goth kid that like hated life and like all that stuff. But
that
no,
rock
I
star
don't know.
shit didn't help.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nobody wanted to talk to me ever. It's kind
I
of
don't know
it's
where
kind
it
of
went. Like I guess we didn't have classes together, and like
that's really all it was is that we just didn't
yeah,
have classes together. And like in high school, that pretty much make or breaks like a
yeah.
friendship is like if you have classes.
I have to take it
So
back. In do you remember at all my pickle prankers phase?
yes, I do.
So since we're taking it back, I had a YouTube channel back in 7th grade. I deleted all the videos, so if you look it up, I mean the channel's still there, but like there's no videos. Um,
Oh shit,
it was a prank channel. I
I
watched
remember.
people like FouseyTube, Roman Atwood when he was doing pranks, all these different pranksters, and I wanted to be a prank YouTuber. So my thought was take my cousin when he was fucking like 3 years younger than me at the time. Let's go to Walmart. I don't even remember how the fuck we got to Walmart. What the fuck? I think we were just like came with my mom, and then like we would just like
Yeah,
split from her, and we'd take my phone, and I'd be like, all right, go fall in front of those people. I'd record it. That was like the main thing we would do. But there was a lot of videos. Like there
dude,
was
I
this
remember that
really
though.
cringe video where I went to what is formerly East Town Mall. I don't think it exists anymore. Um,
Not really.
I went to East Mall and I went to all these different stores and I would just like make weird noises by people and I'd have my phone like I put my phone like on my chest
Oh no,
like so people could probably tell I was recording them and I just go like wah, wah. And then I get the reaction of them
bro.
staring at me and it was the cringiest shit and I'm so glad that that just doesn't exist anymore. Oh, but actually
Oh
I kind
shit.
of not at the same time because I wish I could just look back at it, but
Yeah.
it was pretty shit. Um, but where was I going with this? I'm so lost. Fucking pickle fingers.
Um,
Um,
I was talking about how I wasn't approachable and stuff.
yeah. So around that time, basically the whole downfall of it. Um, I would get bullied pretty bad. Like I was never one
Yeah.
to like get bullied and like be all sad and go like. I guess I had a few times where I did when I went home and I cried. Oh, hello Moses. Um,
Yeah.
I'd go home and I'd be like, damn, I'm getting fucking bullied. Uh, because people are like, oh, fucking, you all you do is like you film these like really shitty videos of you falling and making noises. Like you're not even funny. Uh, Moses will remember this time because that's around the time when me and him kind of got friends. At one point I was like, I kind of ignored it. I was like, "Ah, I don't care what people think about me because I remember I would watch these YouTubers and they'd be like, oh, if people say bad things about you, don't listen to them. And I was like,
Hmm.
all right. I tried my best to do that, but it would still hit me pretty hard. So
Yeah.
over the summer, I just like, and then I went through puberty too. So I guess that kind of matured me. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I just deleted all the videos, and I had I got pretty close to like feeling suicidal around that time. I
Hmm.
remember like downtown, like that parking garage that's like the tallest one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went up there with my bike, and I wasn't. It's not like I was gonna jump. I don't know how serious I was about jumping, but I did think about it.
Mm.
And I was like, you know, what the fuck, dude? All I did was make pranks and get bullied. I can turn this around. And then
Definitely. Holy shit.
I started eager gaming
It's
right
crazy,
after.
dude. It's crazy to look back on that stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
there's obviously for me, there's been like, I countless times that I've wanted to, kill myself, but
Yeah.
looking back, it's still like, I don't know. And it's still something I deal with right now. I still get it like that feeling sometimes. Um, More often than I'd like to admit, but
Yeah.
it's just something that like, I don't know. I've kind of dealt with those emotions for a long time. So, I don't know. It's just kind of like something I don't know. Like for me, I'd really have to think about it for like I'd have to feel that strongly about it for like months before I actually did it, you know. But it's kind of a dark topic.
It is. And I don't mind talking about it at all because I've struggled with that. Like that wasn't like my only like touch with that. Like I feel like we
Yeah.
all have depressing moments and dark moments, and everyone when I know a few times I've talked to people that are very open about that stuff,
Mhm.
and I've had people tell me you're not depressed, and shit like
Mhm.
that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
everyone goes through shit like that, but
Yeah.
as far as like feeling suicidal, like that's I guess that's more rare, but
Yeah, I don't know. I
I don't know. It's just a hard
my
topic.
like I know I don't know. There's times that honestly I should probably either get like therapy or like go to the doctor about it, but I really don't want to because like I'm 90% sure I have some sort of like, anxiety disorder or something
Yeah,
or like some sort of something, but I don't want to know because that's just going to give me an excuse to feel that way. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I don't want to know if I have all these like problems because that's just going to make it worse for me. Because then I'm gonna be like, oh, now it's like confirmed. Now it's like this, whatever. How am I ever gonna fix this? You know what I mean? And then it's just gonna like kill the little hope I have for the future.
yeah.
So I don't want to find out.
I know
Like
what you
that's
mean by that.
like, but there's those people that are like they almost use it as like a bragging right.
Yeah,
Like
no, dude, that's the worst.
dude, I was in an online class on Tuesday, and we were just talking about like it's college 101. So you know how they talk about like drug use and all this stuff.
Yes.
And like they're talking about how you can get addicted to drugs and like one person just types in the chat that they're on like some medication for their panic disorder. It's like, dude, you did not have to bring that up to everybody. Like why? Like they just like listed the medication they were on for
Fuck.
their panic disorder. Like nobody was like, it was just weird. Like,
Oh my
why did you have to
god.
bring that up? You know what I mean? Like for me, that's something that would like I'm kind of embarrassed by that almost, but
Um,
I don't know. Like I don't want to know, and I don't. I also don't want to get medication for it because then I'm just gonna rely on that,
that is a big
and
thing.
then I won't be able to actually get better myself. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. But
I see what you
um,
mean fully. There's
yeah,
also like I get the other side. People want to identify with what's wrong with them.
yeah,
But obviously, like the scary thing is, all right, you're just gonna get put on meds, and meds can be scary. Like I would never, if I found out something was wrong with me, I would never. And it's not like I have that good of a reason to. I just like, I don't want to have like my mental state changed. Like I want to be
mm,
able to feel like I can fix it myself, and that's basically I
yeah,
guess
me
what you were
too.
saying is
Yeah,
like, if you find out that something's wrong with you, like you're just like fuck, then can I really do anything about it?
yeah,
But like I think you can, and
yeah. You
no,
definitely can.
knowing what it is can could be scary, but I think it could actually help in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But
like I,
it's not like a disease like, oh, like you have your legs broken, you have
yeah,
COVID. It's like it's hard to get diagnosed with something like that. Like, oh, you
exactly.
answer a few questions. Yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, I feel down sometimes. But
Yeah,
like, I guess it's easy to get like misdiagnosed. It's easy
yeah.
to like be diagnosed with something that you're not, because there's so many different kinds of mental illnesses.
Mhm.
It's not like just like, oh, I'm sick. No, like you, it's so complex, and there's like a spectrum as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't know. I've thought about therapy, but I don't want to pay for it.
Oh, it's so expensive.
And yeah, like what was I gonna say? I don't remember. But yeah, like you were saying how like oh yeah, like with the medication and stuff. Like um I don't know. I spent a like good portion of my life like kind of just basically like I'll just put it bluntly like I think I already explained this in the first episode, but like I would just get high all the time because I didn't want to deal with my problems.
Mm,
I didn't want to deal with like any issue I was facing, and like I just used that as a way to suppress all of it, like anxiety, depression, everything. It would just go away, and
yeah,
like boom, it's cured, like just like that. Um, so I'm kind of over like all of that stuff now, like especially with medication. I don't want to rely on it. I don't want to like take one pill and boom, it's gone for the day, and then take another pill the next day and boom, it's gone for the day. Like I'd rather
yeah,
just like experience the feelings and like get better with them on my own.
yeah,
But yeah, I know what you're saying. How like if I actually, I could definitely, it would definitely help with improving it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not at that point yet, financially, I guess.
yeah. It's very expensive to deal with, and that's why I feel like it's kind of fucked. Cause like a lot of people, so many people struggle with this shit, and it's so hard to get treatment
Yeah.
for it. Maybe one day it'll like be more accessible for everyone, but the way it
Mhm.
is now is just it's really hard to get help for stuff like this. But if this podcast kind of helps us, then I don't mind, because talking does help.
Yeah, it definitely does.
All right, so I wanted to get into, since Mo's here, I wanted to get into how his friendship basically turned my depression around.
Oh
Um,
my god.
Sounds like a good topic.
Basically, I met this kid, Moses, my best friend. We met in sixth grade. He was like in with the memes at the
Mhm.
time, and we played some PS3 together. I was like, "Do you have PS3?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then we started playing Minecraft and like Black Ops 2 together. Um, and the reason we became really good friends is because a lot of kids played Call of Duty, but like they really tried. They were tryhards. And me and this kid, fucking, the first time I played with him, I went into a 1v1 lobby with him. I put headshots only, and I was throwing C4s at him. Oh, good time! Right away, he knew that I was just a big troll, and I know he was too.
You have like 3 videos of us screwing around.
Yeah, we were always just like Mo was very much like me, so that's how we became really good friends, and it distracted me from. Yeah, there's a video. I'll probably have that shit playing in the background. Um,
It's so
That's a good
bad.
idea. Yeah.
The video, like,
Yeah, the video's
like
shit. The audio is terrible.
Michael Bay in Black Ops 2. That's the title.
The amount of shit
Oh,
that me and Moses have gone through together is, I mean, I feel like that has to be a separate fucking.
episode. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
we
so
could do.
much.
That's on Moses' episode.
Yeah, we'll do Moses' episode. This is
Yeah.
this is
this
just
is
a
It's a little bonus.
introduction.
introduction to that because there's so much to talk about in that. Like, we've done some not so law friendly things. Never drugs. When I say law friend, okay, it'll come out in the episode.
Yeah.
That'll be the teaser
Just
for
focus
it.
on the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, this kid's my best friend, and if it wasn't for him, I'd probably be 6 feet under. So Mo, I love you.
Love you too, man.
Wow. That was beautiful. That was a good moment. I guess we'll kind of talk about this since we're on the topic of mental health and everything. I just wanted to get your take on what are some ways either you or like someone else could build their confidence in themselves, like really on anything, like maybe
Yeah.
just like something they're passionate about, something they want to pursue, anything like that.
I think the first step is finding something, obviously, that you're passionate about
Hmm.
and something that you're good at, and also something. It has to be something that you love doing,
Yeah.
and that can be hard. A lot of people struggle with finding something like that, but
Hmm.
I'm very positive that everyone on Earth has something like that that they're really good at, that they're passionate
Yeah.
for, and it's always a journey finding that. I think the
Mhm.
first step is finding that, and if it makes you happy, putting as much time as you can. Finding what doesn't make you happy, get that out of your life, and
Yeah.
try to focus on what does make you happy.
Hmm.
And that'll definitely, like, if you know you're good at something, that builds up confidence. If you're just
Mhm.
talking about building up confidence in general, I think one of the best things you can do is go to the gym and work out.
For sure. Yeah.
If you look better, if you feel better, your confidence is going to go up.
Hmm.
So like, if anyone ever says that they're going through stuff, I mean, I always recommend, like, just go get lost in the gym, put some music on, try to get fit.
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be very long either, like it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know, there's like a whole another culture of people who are just like super passionate about like the gym and everything,
Yeah.
but that's not even what it really means. It's just like get some exercise, like move around, like do
Yeah, man.
something with your body, like get, I don't know, I don't know, it definitely, well, actually when you exercise and stuff, you're a chemical in your brain. I don't know what chemical. I'm not
Like,
All
I'm not
these
that smart,
chemicals.
but yeah, it makes you feel better. So,
Ease off.
and like that could help with anything, depression, like anxiety, especially like
Yes.
anxiety, you're taking all of that like anxious energy and like putting it into something like
Mhm.
physical, like you can physically feel that you're doing something. So that's really good too. But yeah, exercise is really important.
100%.
And yeah, just really like pursuing what you want to and just doing it,
Yeah.
like, because I know for me, like with music and everything, I took like a whole year off where I just didn't do anything like musical. Like I would open my laptop, try to make a beat. I would fail in one aspect and I would just close it and just be done with it for like a month or two or 3 or 4, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just like that was my lowest point in my whole life, was like a year ago. Because of that. But yeah, I don't know. But the more I work through all the problems I run into, the better I get, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just I don't know. I put way too much weight on it too. Like I was always worried, like I don't know, cause like a year ago I was kind of freaking out about like everything. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna make a living? All that stuff, and I was just kind of relying on like somehow making it with music. So I just put way too much like stress on myself when I go to make something, and it took all the fun out of it. But now I'm getting more back into like touch of like how to enjoy what I'm doing and doing it for me first. So that's something that's helped me personally with all of that.
Yeah, man.
And another thing, sorry, not to cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
um, not to keep talking, but um, like if you're doing something that, I don't know, let's say you make art or you, I don't know, make YouTube videos or something. Just there's a whole phase where you create something and you don't feel like it's ready to be released to other people, just like do it. Just release it. Just get it out there. That way it's off your mind, and like you can put that behind you and know that the next thing you're gonna make is gonna be way better. That's something that really helped me. Is like I would record songs and then just have them on my computer forever and never release them because I was too like embarrassed or whatever. But now I just like release them just like as I make them, pretty much. So that's something that helped me.
Yeah, and Moses brings up a big point in the chat. Artist burnout, especially
Mhm.
for like if people have creative passions, that tends to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, like music, art, anything, making YouTube videos, and it's
Mhm.
important that you can't always just do the same thing. Like if you have a passion for something, that's great, but just know that there's a chance that at some point that won't do it for you anymore. So
Yeah.
I think it's always important to evolve and branch out, and you don't
For
have to
sure.
completely change what you're doing, but there's always like different like branches you can take, and you can switch up what you're doing, and that can
Mhm.
probably bring back that feeling, that passion back.
Yeah, and through anything artistic, you really have to do it for yourself. You can't be thinking about, is somebody gonna like this? Is somebody gonna like that? Just do it for yourself. If you like it, then there you go. You know what I mean? Um, and then that's the only way like you're actually gonna enjoy it. Well, not the only way, but like that's what's gonna prevent you from getting like super worked up about it and like stressed out is just keep doing it for yourself. Do things that make you like feel good, like something that makes you feel accomplished, you know?
Yes, sir.
That is why, like, you have to. That's why it's nice
Featuring
to just.
Baby Moses in the background.
Okay, hold on, Mo. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
No,
okay.
It doesn't matter.
Let's keep going.
but okay, I'm sorry, but
That's
that is
okay.
why you like you just kind of do other things that isn't your like what you want to focus on. Like
Yeah.
I do art, and honestly, I do like furry art, and it's one of the I like it, but it's nice to know about other top like know how to do other stuff instead of
Yeah.
doing doing the same thing over and over again, or just
Yeah.
go out and drive anywhere.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Just try to be careful.
Yeah. Don't die when you're driving, but yeah.
Uh,
Little
I,
things like that.
we have to
Yeah.
apologize for Mo. Unfortunately, is a babysitter, a free babysitter, and
Yeah.
he takes care of a lot of kids, and I don't know how he does it, but he does. Respect. So don't be mad at him in the comments for the shitty audio. This is how it be. Quality's good. You can hear the kid good. So
They keep crying.
yeah.
Loud and clear. Yeah.
All right. Keep it going with the questions, man.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I got here? Do you have any guidelines that you live by, or like mottos or anything like that could just kind of like maybe if something gets hard in your life, you're going through something, you just kind of remind yourself with?
Dude, 100%. I live by a code. I don't have that code fully defined or anything, but I live by always the first thing I think about when I start to feel a little bit discouraged about, I don't know, doing work, doing homework, just getting up from bed, is I think about my parents. And I didn't really talk about this too much, but their journey to get me here, to get
Yeah.
me to succeed, is insane. Like, they sacrificed so much to get me here. It's ridiculous. They sacrificed their own relationship. They sacrificed their own futures. Like, my mom's working in a fucking factory, breaking her back every day,
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
so many hours. Like, she's gotten so many arm surgeries because she's gotten injured, and it's so bad. And I think about, like, yeah, I'm feeling bad because I have homework, but your mother is working really hard at a factory. Get up
Yeah.
and do your work and make her proud. That's always been my thing. Make my parents proud. They sacrificed so much. So
That's awesome. That's
that's
a
my
really
code.
good. It's a really good thing to keep in mind, is how much your parents sacrifice for you, because, you know, I don't know, it's not like you asked for it or whatever, but, you know, like, I don't know. It's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So I guess we'll move into another one. Where do you get your motivation, like, for anything you're trying to do? What's one way, like, if you're feeling unmotivated, what's one thing you can do that will give you some motivation or some inspiration?
Without mentioning again my parents, yeah, that they're a lot of my motivation of doing
Yeah.
what I do. But if I'm ever feeling like I can't do anything, the first step for me is to get up. Because a lot of the time when I'm feeling that way, I'm just laying on my bed, fucking
Yeah,
stuck on Instagram Reels for some reason. I don't know how the fuck I always get stuck on that shit, but I
dude, me
do,
too.
and I hate
Yeah,
that so much. And for some reason, I just can't bring myself to delete the app because I want to see like what my friends are up to and stuff.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, a lot of times just get up, and if I can't, if it's like work and stuff, like homework or something like that, uh, it's always been a bumpy ride with me in doing homework. I always
me
struggle
too.
to do it. But if usually what I do is just like go outside for a bit, maybe drive around. Like I remember this one time I couldn't work on my shit. I drove outside and there was this nice ass fucking sunset. Like the
Hmm.
sky was just pink and like purple. I've never seen it like that. I was like, damn. And then it went away and I'm like, all right, trying to go back home, go back home and get working on my shit.
Yeah, that's one thing like I noticed is like especially now with all the COVID and everything, and I don't have a job. I just go to school right now. I'm trying to get a job, but yeah, I had a job, but that job kind of sucked, so I just quit it. I was like, dude, this is
Peace.
not, dude, that job actually sucked, dude. I was just in a warehouse like, from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Oh,
and it was just me.
Luke.
Like, dude, that job was horrible for my mental state. Like, oh my
Oh,
God, you have no idea, bro. Like on Halloween night, I was like holidays, like I was just like working from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. just seeing all my friends having fun. I'm like, yo, this is not good. So it's kind of like I don't know.
that
Yeah, so
sounds
I quit that
bad.
job. I was like, I can't do this, so I just quit. And then because of that, because I quit that job, I went back to school. So
Yeah.
I actually just started school like 2 weeks ago, so that's why I don't have a job yet. Cause yeah, but I think I'm gonna work at Costco. But anyway,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, so I don't basically what my point to that was I don't really go anywhere because I don't really have like a whole lot to do. So like I'll spend a couple of days in the house, and then like if I do go somewhere, like my mood just improves like so much. Like even just getting out of the house, just driving, like just going somewhere, like it really just improves my mood like a ton. So
Yeah.
yeah. So do you have any like loose goals for the near future? Not to, I don't want to make it too broad, like too lengthy,
Yeah.
because obviously you're not gonna know exactly, but just anything for the near future
um,
that you're working on or trying to accomplish or anything like that.
Hopefully within 2 years I'll have my degree. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I have some financial goals. I mean that's a whole other thing we can get on, but that'll be Paul's episode. I got really big into finances.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to honestly within the next 3 years I'd like to own my own property.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd like to really, I'd like to just mentally be, I guess, better. Like not always questioning my own thought process
Yeah.
and have being more confident about the decisions I make and the opinions I
Mm-hmm.
have.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I think I should really be working on for these next few years.
Yeah, I share a lot of, I shared most of those too, you know. Um, I definitely want to work on my mental state, and um, I'm trying to move out in July, so that's another thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here with the main question of what do you want to be remembered by?
Oh, you hit me with my question.
I hit you with your own question, my guy.
Oh. I asked this question a lot, but I never really thought about it in my own.
I didn't. Yeah, I kind of figured I would catch you off guard. And
Um,
one thing, like, dude, when I answered that question, like, I just wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Like, if all else fails, this is what I want. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it kind of seemed weird. I was just like, yeah, I just want family. You know what I'm
That
saying?
was no.
But
Your answer was really fucking good. Like,
yeah, that's just the truth of it. Like, obviously, I want to succeed in other, but that's like the bare minimum of my life is that. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll let you answer the question.
um, it's just gonna be simple answer. I just want to be remembered as just a good person. A person who did their best to look out for other people, look out for his family,
Hmm.
to someone where you look at him and you're like, oh yeah, he's going to heaven. Like, yeah, he fucked up a few times, he did some dumb shit, but like, he was a good guy. Like, I want to be remembered
Yeah.
as just a good guy. I don't want to like, oh, he he was a good guy, but like he fucking cheated on his wife or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I want to just like be remembered as a good person, and that I always lived up to my code and my good morals.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's basically it. Like that I always tried and I never gave up.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be remembered by.
Not as good as your answer, but that's how I got.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. You can't really judge somebody's answer to that
Fair enough,
question.
fair
You
enough.
can't rate it. Everybody's answer is gonna be different.
Let's do a tier list for answer for every guest we have.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's
that
all
was
the questions I have.
that was my
so.
life for the most part. There might have been some things I wanted to talk about, but I can't think about anymore.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah. Next episode, I want to get Pau on. And the episode after that, I'm going to get this Eagle kid on. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you...
What? Click the notification bell. Subscribe.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed this enjoyable podcast, I hope you stick around. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notifications bell. Hit the like button. And we will be back with another episode of the Eager Podcast.